Welcome everyone to Catholic Sunday Scriptures in Context. History of the Augustinian Order and St. Paul Parish. Today we are focusing on the 33rd Sunday in Ordinary Time, November 1819. Our first reading comes from the book of Proverbs, and this is the final chapter of the book. And it does something very rare. It focuses on the role of women. Women are very underrepresented in the stories of the Old Testament, especially, and both the New Testament also. This passage here is what's known as an acrostic poem. Each line begins with a different letter of the Hebrew alphabet in order, like A, B, C, D, E. So it's a complete poem here in this chapter 31 of the Book of Wisdom. And the purpose this passage is here is because the woman is praised as being industrious, as one who fears the Lord. And we'll see in the parable that Jesus tells about the three servants and the silver pieces, that the lazy servant, who does not use the talent that God gave him to do good. Here the word distaff refers to the spindle, the loom, the weaving that the women did. And distaff is a synonym for women, used by Shakespeare a lot. We don't use it much today because it's sort of it's fallen out of use. When one finds a worthy wife, her value is far beyond pearls. Her husband, entrusting his heart to her, has an unfailing prize. She brings him good and not evil all the days of her life. She obtains wool and flax and works with loving hands. She puts her hands to the distaff and her fingers ply the spindle. She reaches out her hands to the poor and extends her arms to the needy. Charm is deceptive and beauty fleeting. The woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her a reward for her labors, and let her works praise her at the city gates. Our second reading is a continuation of the reading from Paul's letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 5. And as we've said the last couple of weeks, the Thessalonians are concerned about the end of time. They've only been Christians for about a year now, but their focus is on that the end of the world is near. Previously they were worshiping the Roman gods or the Greek gods, and now their focus is just on the end time. Paul says, you don't need to know when the end of the world is if you just live a good life. Do well, treat other people well. And you should not live in fear because you are children of the light. Concerning times and seasons, brothers and sisters, you have no need of anything to be written to you, for you yourselves know very well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. When people are saying peace and security, then sudden disaster comes upon them, like labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. But you, brothers and sisters, are not in the darkness, for that day to overtake you like a thief. For all of you are children of the light and children of the day. We are not of the night or of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as the rest do, but let us stay alert and sober. And our parable today from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 25, I will not read because it is a long one. The story is really an allegory of the second coming. And the interest income is the good deeds that all Christians can perform in their time between the departure of their master and his return. So departure of Jesus and when the end of the world comes. The lazy slave has the wherewithal to perform good deeds, but does not use it and makes an excuse for it. I knew you were hard, so I didn't want to do anything to upset you. And that's not, God doesn't want excuses. God wants good deeds. And that's the purpose of this parable. We're to use our gifts, not to bury them in the ground. Again, here's the story of the man going on a journey, and his servants were entrusted with his possessions and so forth. The one giving 5 talents, 3 talents, and 1 talent. Please pray for peace in Ukraine and in the Holy Land. And if you think this can be helpful to someone, please pass it on. Thank you very much.